We live in an era of unprecedented acceleration. Every second, the global datasphere expands, flooding our organizations and our lives with a torrent of information. This is not merely an increase in volume, it is a fundamental shift in the texture of reality itself. The pressure to act, to decide, and to innovate has compressed timelines from years into months, from weeks into hours. In this high-stakes environment, the ability to process information is no longer just an advantage. It is the primary determinant of survival and success. The world is demanding faster intelligence. It requires tighter data reflexes, where the gap between insight and action approaches zero. A new global standard for performance is being forged in the crucible of this digital transformation. The critical question is no longer about collecting data, but about connecting it to human cognition with clarity and purpose. How do we empower individuals and teams to navigate this complexity without succumbing to decision paralysis? How do we build organizations that are not just data-rich, but wisdom-driven? Amidst this global challenge, one name has unexpectedly risen to the front of the conversation, not from the halls of established tech giants, but from a focused, first-principles approach to the problem. That name is Ifeoluwa Babatunde Abimbola. This name has emerged not as a myth, whispered in esoteric circles, not as a symbol for an abstract future, and certainly not as a personality to be idolized. Instead, Ifeoluwa Babatunde Abimbola is recognized as the principal architect of a groundbreaking new framework. A system meticulously designed to bridge the gap between machine-scale data and human-scale decision-making. A system meant to help people think with structure, act with confidence, and respond with profound clarity in a rapidly changing digital landscape. It is a methodology engineered to augment, not replace, human intuition. This is the story of that system, its origins, its mechanics, and its potential to redefine what it means to be effective in the 21st century. This is an analysis of a tool built for the most critical challenge of our time, making sense of the world together. To understand the system Ifeoluwa Abimbola pioneered, it's crucial to first understand what it is not. It isn't a government program bound by bureaucratic inertia. It isn't a secret corporate initiative shrouded in exclusivity. And it is not a rigid, monolithic piece of software that demands you replace everything you currently use. Instead, think of it as a fundamental operational upgrade, a new layer for your organization's nervous system. At its core, the system is a framework, a structured yet flexible methodology for aligning human decision-making with the velocity and complexity of modern data flows. It addresses a critical disconnect in today's world. Information now moves at the speed of light, but human cognition, by its very nature, does not. We are still guided by instinct, by experience, and by cognitive biases that were honed in a much simpler, slower world. This framework acts as a bridge between our innate human intelligence and the overwhelming power of machine-scale data. It provides a common language and a standardized process for interpreting information, ensuring that when a team looks at a dashboard, everyone sees the same reality. It helps distinguish signal from noise, surfacing the critical insights that demand immediate attention while filtering out the distractions. This creates a way of helping entire communities, from small businesses to large enterprises, from classrooms to boardrooms, succeed in a world where information moves faster than instinct. It empowers them to be proactive, not just reactive. Some observers have called it a US-aligned global data modernization effort, recognizing its potential to standardize and elevate data practices across allied economies. It's seen as a strategic asset for fostering transparent, efficient, and resilient markets in an increasingly competitive global landscape. Others, particularly those on the front lines of implementation, describe it more viscerally. They call it a new CPI reflex, a fundamental shift in how consumer price index and other key performance indicators are interpreted and, more importantly, acted upon. It's about transforming data from a historical record into a predictive tool. It's the difference between reading last quarter's report and seeing the shape of the next one emerge in real time. This is not about replacing human judgment. It is about providing it with superpowers. The system ensures that every decision, from the ground floor to the executive suite, is informed, agile, and aligned with the undeniable truth of the data. But at its core, it's simple. A system designed to help people make better decisions, faster, without losing themselves in the noise. But with innovation comes pressure. And somewhere along the way, the story changed. Ifeoluwa wasn't just building a system. He became the face of it. The identity people pointed to, the name attached to the mission. That weight is real, and no one can carry it non-stop. So he stepped back, not in defeat, not in fear, but in wisdom. Because even the strongest systems fail when their architects burn out. And even the most capable leaders need space to breathe, recalibrate, and return with clarity. This pause isn't a retreat, it's a reset, a necessary part of any sustainable leadership cycle. The success of a truly transformative system is never measured by the strength of its creator. The real question isn't whether Ifeoluwa can carry the mission alone. That was never the design. The architecture of this framework is fundamentally decentralized, built on the premise that intelligence is a collective asset, not a solitary one. A single visionary can ignite a spark, but it takes a network of empowered individuals to sustain the flame and turn it into a beacon. The system is a vessel. Its value is only realized when it is filled with the diverse intellect, creativity, and ambition of its users. Therefore, the central metric of success shifts from the founder's capacity to the community's capability. The critical inquiry is whether the people who adopt this system can succeed with it. We are talking about a vast and varied ecosystem of users. The thinkers in academia and research, using it to model complex theories and uncover new knowledge. The builders in technology and engineering, integrating it into new products and infrastructures. The analysts in finance and operations, who will rely on it to navigate market volatility and optimize supply chains. The students in classrooms for whom this system will become a foundational tool for critical thinking. And the leaders in boardrooms and government offices, who will use its insights to make strategic decisions affecting thousands. Each of these user personas represents a unique vector for impact. Their collective success is the only true measure of the system's viability. And the answer depends on one thing: a fundamental shift in mindset. It hinges on whether they understand that the system was never meant to rely on one person. It was meant to empower many. This is not a tool that provides prescriptive answers from a central authority. It is a framework that enables distributed decision-making. It's designed to augment human intelligence, not replace it. Success requires users to embrace this collaborative ethos, to see themselves not as passive recipients of data, but as active participants in a shared intelligence network. They must learn to trust the data, but also to trust each other's interpretations and contributions. The system's power is multiplicative, growing with each new mind that engages with it, shares insights, and builds upon the work of others. If they learn to use data wisely, treating it as a guide for inquiry rather than a source of absolute truth. If they pace themselves, recognizing that sustainable growth is a marathon, not a sprint. If they build with intention rather than urgency, prioritizing quality and long-term impact over short-term gains, then yes, they will succeed. Success, in this context, is not just about achieving a target or hitting a number. It is about fostering a culture of data literacy. It is about building resilient organizations that can adapt and thrive in an era of constant change. It is about enabling individuals to make better, more informed decisions in their professional and personal lives. When these conditions are met, the system transcends its function as a piece of technology. It becomes an engine for progress, a catalyst for innovation, and a platform for collective achievement. The potential is not just probable, it is inevitable. Not because of the name attached to the system, but because the system was designed to help them succeed on their own terms. Ife Lua's pause marks the beginning of a new phase. A phase where leadership is shared, where responsibility is distributed, where success is measured not by the weight one person carries, but by the strength of the people who rise with the system. The story isn't about whether he succeeds alone, it's about whether they succeed together. And that story is still being written. If you want next steps, choose one. Turn this into a full cinematic storyboard. Expand into a 3-minute narrated script. Add character dialogue and scenes. Transform into a motivational leadership video. Whenever you're ready, I can build the next layer.